Krista Martin resided in the charming city of Wichita, Kansas, where she occupied a solitary apartment on South Osage Street, a residence she had recently embraced in the autumn of 1989. On the fateful day of October 1st, her family reported her missing after failing to reach her. The following day, October 2nd, law enforcement officials visited her apartment, only to discover Krista's lifeless body within. She had endured blunt force trauma to the back left side of her head and had been subjected to a violent assault. Although investigators were unable to locate the weapon used in this heinous act, they meticulously collected DNA evidence from the scene. Notably, there were no indications of forced entry. At that time, the capabilities for DNA testing and the combined DNA index system were not yet in existence. However, the collected DNA evidence was preserved with great care. During their inquiry, authorities noted a domestic disturbance call had been reported in the vicinity of Krista's residence a week prior to her tragic demise, yet they could not establish any connection to her case. Between 1990 and 1992, the detective assigned to the case forwarded evidence to the Federal Bureau of Investigation Crime Lab in hopes of uncovering a suspect. But regrettably, these efforts bore no fruit, leaving the case in a state of unresolved mystery. In 2009, DNA evidence was submitted to the Sedgwick County Regional Forensic Science Center, which yielded a potential profile, yet no matches were found in the combined DNA index system database. By 2020, the Wichita Police Department, utilizing cutting-edge technology, sought the expertise of the Federal Bureau of Investigation once more to reassess the DNA evidence gathered in 1989. Collaborating with Othram, they aimed to determine if advanced DNA testing could unveil the identity of the perpetrator. The forensic evidence was subsequently dispatched to Othram's laboratory in the Woodlands, Texas, where scientists successfully developed a detailed DNA profile of the unknown assailant. Upon the successful culmination of the intricate process, the DNA profile was entrusted to the esteemed forensic genetic genealogy team at the Federal Bureau of Investigation, who diligently undertook the essential tasks to unveil new investigative avenues. In the year 2021, a dedicated team comprising a cold case detective from Wichita and a special agent from the Federal Bureau of Investigation embarked on an expedition to Alabama and Arkansas, joining forces with additional federal agents stationed in Maryland. Their objective was to conduct thorough interviews and amass further evidence to unravel the complexities of the case. Ultimately, in April 2023, a potential suspect named Paul Hart emerged. Regrettably, it was revealed that Hart had tragically perished in a car accident in Memphis, Tennessee, in March 1999. In June 2023, the Wichita Police Department detective and the Federal Bureau of Investigation special agent journeyed to Arkansas, where they procured additional DNA samples from Paul Hart's direct relatives for further examination. Subsequent testing confirmed that Paul Hart was indeed responsible for the untimely demise of Krista. A press conference was convened on October 2nd, 2023, to unveil the significant development in this 34-year-old cold case, coinciding precisely with the anniversary of Krista's body being discovered. Detective Adam Vandermolen, the lead investigator on Krista Martin's case, remarked, "The Wichita Police Department has always held Krista in our thoughts. After the initial investigation, we found ourselves at a standstill, prompting us to reassess the case from a fresh perspective. Had investigators in 1989 not considered the possibility of a DNA collection kit, we would not be revisiting this matter today, as such technology was non-existent at that time. However, it is now a reality. It is clear that Krista has been remembered on numerous occasions in 1989, 2009, and 2020. Vandermolen further elaborated, "In the spring of 2023, we focused our attention on a family through genetic genealogy, the Hart family. There exists no connection to Wichita. These individuals hail not from this city, nor do they truly belong to the Midwest. Their roots lie in the state of Arkansas. This prompted me to inquire, what relevance does this have to Wichita? These individuals are not part of this community. What narrative unfolds here? Thus, we commenced our investigation into this family, and as we delved deeper, we uncovered a person who resided in Wichita in 1989. Shortly after the tragic murder of Krista Martin in October of that year, this individual abruptly departed Wichita, returning to Arkansas. His existence remained a mystery to all. We approached Krista's family, inquiring if this name resonated with them. No recognition. We consulted the original investigators, meticulously reviewing the case files and the individuals they had interviewed, yet this name never surfaced in any inquiries from 1989 to the present day. Remarkably, he lived merely 6 houses away from Krista Martin's residence, just around the corner from where her life was so cruelly taken. Vandermolen expressed that had this person been within Krista's social circle, the information would likely have emerged much sooner. However, due to the potential unfamiliarity, investigators were left uncertain about whom they were truly seeking. "It sends shivers down my spine," he remarked, "because the answer was there. We simply remained unaware until a few months ago." They were of similar ages, and from all accounts I have gathered, there were no connections between them, merely a fortuitous encounter. The truth may forever elude us. What we did ascertain is that Krista was an exceptionally sociable person, often frequenting local establishments and forming friendships with those she met. It was not unusual for Krista to accept rides home from newfound acquaintances, inviting them to her apartment. Vandermolen expressed his hope that this case exemplifies the department's commitment to pursuing investigations until every avenue has been exhausted. Sedgwick County's District Attorney, Mark Bennett, also addressed the audience at the press conference. He stated that upon reviewing the details of the case presented by the Wichita police, it was concluded that charges would have been pursued had Paul Hart been alive today. However, in light of his passing, the investigation is now deemed resolved. Law enforcement informed me of their diligent efforts on this matter, and after exhausting all avenues and reaching their findings with the support of the Forensic Science Center, they brought their conclusions to my attention as they would for any other case. After carefully considering the evidence and the information collected, along with the DNA analysis, it is evident that this is a case I would have pursued had the suspect been alive. This investigation is now complete. It is officially closed. During the press conference, Krista Martin's niece expressed her gratitude to the investigators and volunteers for their unwavering commitment to solving the case. "I am relieved that we can finally move forward and find solace in knowing that the perpetrator is no longer at large," she remarked. "Once again, we extend our deepest thanks to everyone who played a role in delivering justice for Krista. She deserved far more from life than what she ultimately received." On the morning of December 1st, 1948, an unidentified male was discovered deceased on Somerton Park Beach, located just south of Adelaide, Australia. He is believed to have died around 2 a.m. that day. The individual appeared to be in his 40s or 50s, standing at 5 feet 11 inches tall, and was both well-built and well-dressed. It was evident that he had passed away peacefully in his sleep, with his head resting against the seawall and his legs extended outward. The exact cause of death remained undetermined. While it was clear he did not die from natural causes, there were no indications of a struggle. Authorities suspected that an untraceable poison may have been involved in his demise. Lacking any identification, he was referred to as the Somerton Beach Man. Notably, he had arrived in the city just a day prior to his death. In his pocket, investigators found an unused train ticket to Henley Beach, purchased approximately 20 hours before his body was found. It appeared that he had intended to make a brief stop in Adelaide, but for reasons unknown, missed his scheduled train. A month later, his suitcase was located in a station locker containing a red dressing gown, size 7 slippers, 4 pairs of trousers, pajamas, grooming items, a pair of trousers, an electrician's screwdriver, a modified blade, sharp-pointed scissors, pencils, and stationery. Intriguingly, all name tags and labels on his clothing had been removed, except for a tie that still displayed a tag with the name T. Keene. Additionally, his suitcase held a laundry bag marked with the name Keene and an undershirt labeled Keene, omitting the E. Despite thorough investigations, no individual named T. Keene was reported missing in any English-speaking nation. It is suspected that the man retained these tags as a means of concealing his true identity, suggesting that Keene was likely an alias. 5 months after the discovery of his remains, a pathologist conducted a further examination of the Somerton man's body and uncovered a concealed compartment within his trousers that had previously gone unnoticed. Inside this hidden pocket was a small, rolled piece of paper featuring a haunting message printed in an unusual typeface. The message read, "Tamam shud," a Persian expression translating to "the end" or "it's over." This phrase had been torn from a rare New Zealand edition of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of Persian poetry. The specific copy was later found discarded in the vehicle of an unrelated passerby. Investigators scrutinized the book and discovered another enigmatic clue on its back cover, a handwritten phone number. They traced the number to a nurse named Jo Thompson, residing in Glenelg, a suburb of Adelaide, located just 400 meters from the site where the man's body was located. During her interview with the authorities, Jo appeared visibly shaken, nearly fainting, yet she maintained that she had no knowledge of the Somerton Beach man. Detectives later expressed their belief that Jo was being evasive in her responses. Notably, Jo had a son named Robin, who bore a striking resemblance to the Somerton Beach man. Both shared 2 rare genetic traits: hypodontia of both lateral incisors, found in only 2% of the population, and a larger upper ear hollow compared to the lower ear hollow, which occurs in just 1% of Caucasians. The likelihood of them not being related was estimated to be between 1 in 10 million and 1 in 20 million. Consequently, speculation arose that Robin might be the son of the Somerton Beach man, and that Jo was reluctant to identify the body due to her engagement to another man. She requested that her real name not be published in the newspaper, wishing to keep her fiancé unaware of the police inquiry. Adjacent to the phone number in the book, the man had hastily written a seemingly random assortment of letters and numbers. Given the era, many speculated that this could have been a form of secret code, leading to the belief that the Somerton man might have been a Cold War spy. This theory gained traction due to the striking similarity between the second and fourth lines, suggesting a possible mistake in his encryption process. Both experts and amateur cryptologists endeavored to decipher the code, yet all their efforts ultimately proved fruitless. Acknowledging the possibility that the man was an international agent, the Australian police forwarded his post-mortem photographs and fingerprints to their counterparts in the US, UK, South Africa, and several other allied nations, but none could identify him. There were no records or documentation linking back to him, and no missing person reports matched his description. Furthermore, no friends or family members came forward to claim his body, as if he had never existed. The unidentified man was laid to rest in Adelaide. For many years, flowers inexplicably appeared at his gravesite. Recently, the unsolved mystery of the Somerton Beach man has garnered renewed interest, largely due to discussions among internet sleuths and content creators. The enigmatic nature of the case and the multitude of unanswered questions resonated with audiences, captivating millions of true crime enthusiasts and ensuring the case remains relevant. Where did the man originate? What led to his demise? Why was there a concealed compartment in his trousers? What significance did the words Tamam Shud hold? What message lay hidden within the uncrackable code? Was he indeed an international agent, and if so, was he eliminated by another? As the years went by, an increasing number of individuals contemplated these questions and many more. Despite the passage of time, the enigma surrounding the Somerton man remained unsolved. Professor Derek Abbott from Adelaide University, captivated by this mystery, devoted decades to unraveling the true identity of the man found on Somerton Beach. It was Professor Abbott who initiated the digital reconstruction of the deceased. In the late 1940s, when no one stepped forward to claim the John Doe, investigators took a plaster cast of his body prior to his burial. In a remarkable turn of events, when Professor Abbott examined this cast in 2011, he discovered 50 strands of hair from the Somerton man embedded in the death mask, with 3 strands remarkably well preserved. Utilizing DNA sequencing, he meticulously narrowed down potential identities. Collaborating with the esteemed genealogist Colleen Fitzpatrick, they constructed an extensive family tree of 4,000 individuals linked to the unidentified man, ultimately unveiling the true identity of the Somerton Beach figure. Contrary to speculation of espionage or assassination, he was revealed to be Carl Webb, an electrical engineer and instrument maker, born in 1905. Known as Charles, he had resided in Melbourne with his wife Dorothy Robertson until their separation in 1947, just a year before his untimely demise on the beach. The last records of Charles trace back to April 1947, coinciding with the couple's split and Dorothy's subsequent divorce filing. Following their separation, Dorothy relocated 144 kilometers away to Butte, South Australia, leading to speculation that Charles may have been searching for her in the days leading up to his death. Some believe he may have traveled to Adelaide to visit Joe Thompson. However, DNA analysis has since confirmed that Charles was not related to her son Robin, and their genetic resemblance was merely a coincidence. The nature of Charles's relationship with Joe remains shrouded in mystery, as she never acknowledged any acquaintance with him during her lifetime. Consequently, the true essence of their connection eludes us, although it is highly probable that they crossed paths, evidenced by her number inscribed in his personal book. Notably, Charles's sister was wed to a gentleman named Thomas Keene, which clarifies the labels discovered on his tie, laundry bag, and undershirt. They were merely inherited items. Furthermore, Charles was known to have a profound appreciation for poetry. In a moment of despair regarding his wife and life, he deemed the phrase Tamam Shud, translating to the end, as a poignant farewell. As for the cryptic code, its exact significance remains elusive. However, alongside his passion for poetry, Charles was also an ardent enthusiast of horse racing. It is speculated that the letters may have been linked to the names of horses he intended to wager on. Regrettably, none of Charles's surviving relatives had the opportunity to meet him face to face, nor do they possess any photographs of him. Nevertheless, the likeness of his brother, Roy Webb, bears a striking resemblance to the individual discovered on Somerton Beach, as do the images of his nephew, John Russell Keene. Are there any photographs of Charles himself? He was known to partake in community football, and it is believed he might be among the gentlemen captured in a photograph from 1921, though it remains uncertain which of these young men is Charles Webb. Professor Abbott and his team continue their quest for a confirmed image of Charles from his lifetime. The circumstances surrounding Charles's demise remain ambiguous. However, recent revelations suggest a strong likelihood that he chose to end his own life, potentially through an undetectable poison, an explanation that is both more plausible and, regrettably, more tragic than previously imagined. While the life of the Somerton Beach man may not resemble that of a character from a spy novel, he has nonetheless left behind one of the most enigmatic and captivating mysteries in history, one that has persisted for over 70 years, It is worth mentioning that the findings of Professor Abbott have yet to receive official confirmation from the South Australia Police. Nevertheless, the recent exhumation of the Somerton man's embalmed remains for DNA analysis suggests that authorities are likely to reach a similar conclusion. Given this context, it appears highly probable that the identity of the Somerton beach man may finally be revealed. However, numerous questions regarding the case remain unanswered. For example, why did none of Charles's relatives report him missing? Were they even aware of his passing? What was his relationship with Joe Thompson? What brought him to Adelaide in the first place? According to Professor Abbott, some answers may emerge soon, while others could take years, and some may remain elusive indefinitely.